Okay, I think we're live now, and let me hit the intro, and hopefully it doesn't keep playing over and over. It's been doing that. I just got to stop this. Okay, hey. Perfect. Okay, great.
Nice. There we are.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have one of my absolute favorite guests back with me tonight.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Yeah, she channels Aralamb, and Aralamb's so amazing. Like, I've gotten to know Melissa and Aralamb over the last few years, and like Aralamb always comes up with amazing information, like, you know, about like humanity's future and what's going on in the world, and it's awesome. Like, and I saw a couple of you already requested readings, so you know,
nice. We love that.
Yeah, but like I think Aralamb wants to get into some stuff first, so we'll do a little bit of talking, and then we'll get to a point where we get to the readings. But a little bit about the guest. I just wrote, dive into the mystical realm of interdimensional guidance with Melissa, who channels Aralamb, explores soul activation, galactic frequencies, and cosmic archetypes through her transmissions. Visit melissagatesperry.com for more on her work, background, and spiritual mission. Topics will be channeling Aralamb, what it means, what it brings, galactic archetypes, soul alignment and activation, healing transmissions through interdimensional frequencies, and what's in store for humanity, and of course live readings. So with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Melissa and Aralamb, thank you so much for coming back on. How is everybody?
Awesome. I'm doing good. Super busy like everyone else. Aralamb is here as always to my right, the right of me. So I'm gonna say firstly that I love coming on here, Rob. I love to see you. I'm always following along and looking and listening to your other guests. And one of the things I wanted to say to you, which is incredible to me, is your work ethic. Holy smoke, dude. Like you have a lot of people. And the beautiful thing, and I'm always telling people, you got to go subscribe. You got to subscribe to Typical Skeptic, because you have such a big, wide sort of group of people, whether it's scientists or UFO people, channelers, spiritualists, kind of, you know, the whole cross section of people that are all looking at the Ascension right now. So that's amazing. You're doing an amazing job. And it was really cool. And I'll say this to you. Well, two things I want to say to you. And then Aralamb wants to say something to you too. And I always try to be careful about personal information. But one of the things that you asked me the first time we ever met, kind of off the show, was, you know, am I sort of in the right place? Am I doing what I'm meant to do? Is this going to be, you know, am I in the right place? And you absolutely are. And nothing has changed about that. And so Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's speaking. Rob, it's wonderful to talk to you today. What I was going to say, and what Melissa started to kind of say, is that I wanted to say this to you personally before I start talking about some of the earth changes that I want to alert people to. And that is that you are now finally, from the first time that we spoke, you were sort of looking out into this 1 Earth year to 1.5 Earth year timeline of a build. What I want to say to you, still Aralamb speaking, is that you now are coming into that time period where the resistance that's been playing against you is literally going to be going away. So everything that you've been working toward is going to start to go forward and get bigger and bigger and bigger in a much more organic way. So you, Rob, will not have to feel as though you are pushing a huge rock up a hill. Does that make sense energetically?
Yeah.
So you're really coming to this time where everything, if you will, your spiritual boat and your career and what you're doing is going to, in the next 6 Earth months, going to start really pushing forward in a way where you'll be able to say things are happening and I'm not having to struggle so hard. So it's wonderful to be able to come on here tonight and tell you that, because I know that you have you've kept in the grind and sort of thought, am I good? Am I close to that place where I'm going to start to break, right? In a good way, where it's going to start to break. So you're coming to that place. So it's amazing.
I know what happened. Oh, sorry. I was just going to tell you, Aralamb, this. So this was crazy. Like, I was on vacation. I was in Florida. You know, I was having the best time on my vacation. And then I found out they demonetized my audio podcast. So I was like, you know, but I do see what you're saying. Like, I feel like I'm starting to like branch out and I'm starting to like get bigger. You know what I mean?
Yes,
but like, it's still targeting, you know, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You know, it seems like they're still targeting me. You know,
Still,
I don't know.
still a
What do you
fight.
think?
But it's nice that that Aralamb is saying to you in your timeline, in your personal timeline, you're coming into that place where that feeling of like 2 steps forward and then that 1 step back, and you go, why is this happening? Everything felt like it was moving forward. You're finally coming out of that. When he was just talking to you about it, Rob, he was literally showing me like your boat catching a wave in the positive way. Like he was literally showing me a picture of sort of your career boat kind of finally being on the crest of the wave and moving forward, rather than paddling really hard to try to get a good wave. Like you're right there. So keep right on doing that because you're right there. All right, Aralamb's hand is up again. So Aralam's speaking. Rob, one thing that I want to speak to your listeners about and you is that everyone that's listening, everyone on the planet right now, every human who is a souled being on the planet needs to truly be looking at the earth changes. And when I say earth changes, I don't just mean certain things. I don't mean flooding and earthquakes, and I mean everything, right? I mean the Schumann resonance. It doesn't mean that you want to have fear. It doesn't mean that you become paranoid or afraid of what's going on. But the earth is going through some of the most difficult and challenging change times into this ascension. All of humanity, and I know that I sort of update you on the timeline, still Aralamb speaking, all of humanity now is between a third and a halfway through the ascension. So there's this place where you've moved a third of the way into the ascension. You're not quite to the half. Between the half and the 2/3 of the ascension in the next 3 to 5 years, the earth changes that you're seeing are going to get to be more and more and more. And that's going to be the way that water is, the way that the Schumann resonance is, the solar flaring, all of that. Again, it's not to say that you should be in fear around any of this. What it is to say is that you can very responsibly and respectfully for yourself and your families at least be aware of what's going on around you at all times. Just be aware of the earth changes. Be aware of the weather patterns. Be aware of sort of the geomagnetic information that's coming out. Be aware that the polar North Pole is shifting, that the polar caps are changing. Be aware of solar flaring and all of it. And I realize this seems like a huge sort of endeavor. It doesn't mean that you've got to become a scientist, but it does mean that you want to keep an eye on all of that because it's really a hugely energetically integral part of the ascension. Because let me say this to you, and I know that you know this, Robin, that some people listening may, still Aralamb speaking. But if you wake up in the morning and you feel as though you can't remember, you know that you slept very hard, but you can't remember what happened. You almost feel as though you had dreams or you weren't sleeping soundly. All of these things are going to be impacting you, particularly when you're trying to sleep. The changes and when the Schumann resonance is very high or when it's changing. If there is volcanic activity on the other side of the planet, it's going to affect you because it's releasing a ton of energy right into the electromagnetic energy of the earth, which you're all living in. So be aware of that, particularly in the next 6 months to the first of this next calendar year. Be watching what's going on just because it's going to make you safer and it's going to make you feel more in control of your part in the ascension. Okay, me speaking. So that's kind of cool. So he's been talking to people about that in sessions a lot too, because people are having, and I know maybe you are, Rob, you can speak to this, and maybe the people that are listening, people are having this sensation. It's almost like you wake up in the morning, this is me talking, but it's almost like you wake up in the morning and you go, what the heck happened last night? Like I slept, but I feel like I was working all night, or I feel like I was digging a ditch all night, or I feel like I was running all night long, right? And it's almost like you don't know why. Like, why am I feeling what was going on last night? And it's very energetic. It's very energetic. And people are waking up at the same time in the middle of the night as well. I have tons of people coming through sessions who are saying, I'm waking up at 2:00 every single night, and then I lay there for 20 minutes and then I finally go back to sleep, that kind of thing. And so that's where he's saying that everybody's feeling the energy, and it's important to start to look and see what the earth is doing.
Yeah. I'm having the exact problem myself. I'm having the exact thing. I wake up in the middle of the night all the time, and I'll be up for like a little bit, and then I'll finally go back to bed. Yeah.
Right. And it's almost like you feel like you should be paying attention to something, or you'll feel like, what is happening? Like, what's going on out in the world? Because I'm feeling like something's going on that I should be aware of, and it wakes you up. And it's energetic. I'm telling you, the energy right now is through the roof. It's through the roof on the planet.
Yeah. I agree. So can we expect it to even get even more? Is it going to even more would you say, is it going to get even more intense?
So Airlamb's hand is up. Airlamb's speaking. So yes, and I'm always careful to speak about earth changes in a way, because I am not as an entity here in creation wanting to spread fear in the masses of the population, because 99% of humanity is meant to make it through this ascension. However, it is good for you to be looking at volcanic activity, earthquake activity, ocean currents, the activity of the Schumann resonance, the activity of solar flaring, all of those things, keeping an eye, because there are going to be more and more geographical and geological events, and it can be a combination of events, tsunami events in the next 6 Earth months, I'm going to say. They're going to be more and more. You're going to notice them more and more. So it's good to sort of be aware of what's happening. But the other reason that it's good to know this is because if you see that there is a volcano on the other side of the planet that is large, or that there's an earthquake that's large, still Aralamb speaking, you have to understand that if it's on the other side of the planet from you, but it was a 7.5 earthquake or bigger, it affects your physical energy body. Humanity doesn't look at it this way, but it absolutely does, because you're all grounded to planet Earth. So you've got to understand that if you wake up in the middle of the night feeling like something is going on, it very well may be that there's an earth change happening, that there's something physically with the earth that is changing. And in kinship with all of that geological movement is more and more of the hidden information coming up. More and more of what's been hidden and dark and difficult is coming up. The earth is literally expelling it. So you're having the two things happening together.
I agree 100%. That's what it seems like.
I want to say this about that. I want to say this about, and Aralamb, this is me speaking, and this is kind of, and I don't want it to be political, but it's a bit political in a way, and I don't usually do politics at all. But what is happening right now, where there are people who are questioning the files of that certain gentleman, and I don't want you to get, I guess we're on StreamYard, so maybe you wouldn't, but like the whole Epstein issue, right?
Yeah.
So that's an issue that is one of those issues that Aralamb's been talking about. It's going to be forced up one way or the other. And the problem with that particular issue, and Aralamb talks about, actually Aralamb's hand is up. He wants to talk about this. Aralamb speaking. So Melissa was about to say the problem with this issue. I'm not going to call it a problem. I'm going to say that that particular question, that particular human being is connected to so many other humanoid and being souls on the planet on every side of the story and in many, many countries. So what is going to happen is there's going to be this slow exposure of it. It will come up because the earth and the energy is going to bring it all up. And what's going to happen when that happens? And I'm going to say this is in the next 8 Earth months. So by spring of this coming Earth year, you're going to find that so many high-ranking individuals are connected with that information that it's going to literally bring almost things to a halt from a governmental standpoint, from a social standpoint, because there are so many compromised souls, there are so many compromised individuals that it's gonna sort of put the brakes on many things, because you're going to find that all of these different individuals that you would have put your trust in as a human being, they're all compromised together, not just in the United States, but in many other countries. And so it all has to come up. It has to come up.
Yeah, and you know what? It's teaching the people. I would say, I don't know if Eric would agree with me on this, but it's teaching people who don't necessarily ever look into conspiracies and stuff like that. That the world's a lot different than what they had probably thought it was.
So Aralamb's hand is up. That is exactly correct, Rob. And here's the issue with this particular, what you're calling a conspiracy. This particular playbook, if you will, throughout history on planet Earth, going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, that kind of compromising of souls so that you have a power blanket, if you will, that's been going on for eons and eons of time. What's happening right now is that the ascension cannot happen while that is all, because it's slavery and it's human trafficking and it's compromised souls. The Earth cannot ascend until this information comes up and moves into the zeitgeist and knowledge of all of the human beings on planet Earth. And it's going to come up no matter how hard the powers that be fight against it. So conspiracy, you can use that word, still Aralamb speaking. You can use the word conspiracy, but that particular conspiracy is a truth that has to come up. And when it does, it's going to bring a huge number of powerful individuals sort of up and into the light of creation. And it has to do it. It has to do it.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I'm going to say this about that. My thought about that, because I know that some people go, that is so much conspiracy. But the only thing for me, and Aralamb talks about this and says, hey, it's coming up. It's going to come up. It can't be stopped because the universal ascension is happening. But my thing is like, I don't, I think, oh my gosh, if all of that information is going to come up and be seen by everyone and it's not going to be conspiracy, sort of the way that Aralamb says in the next, 9 Earth years, 10 years, the next decade, off-world species will be here and it won't be conspiracy. They'll just be here and we'll know it. You think to yourself, what is this going to do to everybody's thought process about what we do every day and what life is and all of that stuff. And, all of those people being exposed and all of that dark information coming up, you kind of think, oh my gosh, we chose to be here. Rob, you and I chose to be here for this. And sometimes you just think, I just want to go eat a cheeseburger and not worry about it. I just want to not have to worry about this, drink a beer and sit down and enjoy a sunset, but it's happening. And we chose to be in the ascension.
Yeah. So
but it's a wild time, right? It's a wild friggin' time to be alive.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. It's I think it's the most important time to be alive too. Yes. I don't think that any of this has ever happened
It's not happened. It isn't happened. So Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb speaking. The reason that, by your feeling that this is a singular time in the history of your planet, because in the next 20 Earth years, you're going to be moving for the first time from the 7th age of man into the 8th age of man, without a natural or man-made catastrophe taking you all out. Every time that an age of man ends, the souls on Earth are brought down to about 10,000 souls, and it has to be started again. This is the first time in the history of humanoids like you and Melissa and your listeners on planet Earth that you're going to make it. Most of you will make it into the 8th age of man, which is where you become spacefaring. It's where you start to understand what the universe is about. And it's also where you get to see everything hidden and everything dark come up in the light of the universe and disappear, be gone from the planet.
Wow. It's an exciting time, honestly.
It is. But it's also it's almost like when you're a kid and you get on that roller coaster that you're terrified of, and then you go, oh my God, what am I doing here? Why did I get on this roller coaster, right? Because now it's too late. You're strapped in and it's the tick, 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 tick to the, you can't get off. And that's kind of where we are. But it's also cool because think about all of the information about science, about UFOs, about healing, about spirituality and channeling. It's all of this good new information is also coming to the planet, which is amazing. Right? It's amazing. Everybody has, if you're not learning all of the new information, you can people can learn about everything now online. You can learn so many things. And if you're not looking at it and you're not learning about all of this stuff, then it's totally just, you're not doing it. Because you can.
I want to make something clear about this. So some couple being in the audience are trying to say, they're like, well, there's aliens already here. I'm I think we all know that.
Yes, we do. That's exactly right.
You were trying to say it was it's going to become evident to the mainstream.
Yes, evident to everyone. So if you're standing at the grocery store, you could talk to somebody who's 15 years old or somebody who's 95 years old, and everybody will agree, yes, they've been here. They've been here as long as we've been here. They've been here prior to us because they seeded us. They created us in a way. They've been here the whole time. But Aralamb's talking about that they'll be here in the way where you would be able to say, you know something, I would like to spend a year on a different planet, right? So, okay, then, you're going to take that ship over there to do that. And it's not going to take you 10 years to get there. It's going to take you a day because the rest of the universe is traveling in that way by folding space-time, not 3 years to Mars in a rocket, right? So there's a lot of free energy and all of this stuff coming at us, but But yes, I agree with your listeners who are saying they've been here. They have been here, but there's a huge swath of humanity that still thinks it's not real.
Yeah,
And
that's a
that's
good
going
point.
away. That's going to go away, fully go away.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope people get to the point that we're at, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
And that's
it's
where you come in, because your channel and your work is what's pushing it out into reality where, hey, there's a lot of people who understand this is reality, and it's so important. It's so important.
yeah. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a girl last night. She said she just started watching my channel, and she's like started coming into realizations that she's starting to realize that a lot of this stuff is real. And I was like,
right, it's real. Yeah,
it's all real. I said I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was real.
that's
What I mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this, when you start to understand what's really true about human beings, about your soul, about how you're connected universally, about manifestation and what human beings are capable of, and the energy and the dark matter fabric and how it all works. Once you start to really look at that, then you go, oh my gosh, that means I'm responsible for how my life is. I'm responsible for myself. Like, I can change things at any time if I decide that's what I want to do. And I know that sounds simple and cliche, but energetically, it's exactly what it is. It's what it is. So then there's this reality check, because you go, oh crap, I can't just flop around and, whatever. I got to sort of look at myself and decide what I want to do and decide how I want to be. But it's awesome. I mean, it's an incredible time to be alive. It's also terrifying on some days.
oh yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
On some days, it's a little bit like,
Yeah, it is. It is. I agree. Yeah. Is there anything else Aralamb wanted to cover before we get into the readings, or should we start?
We'll get into the readings, because I know that you always have people who are totally ready to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to find the Karen's not in the. Oh yeah, here she is. So, I promised this girl she would be first, because I had readers up before you, and she was supposed to get a reading last time. This is Carrie Ann Hanlon. She's from Australia. And do you have a question, Carrie, or do you? Let me see here. Yeah, I'll wait and see if she has a question. Let me see here. She's I guess I could just wait a second until she says. She's probably thinking of what she wants to ask. I didn't mean to put her on the spot.
Aralamb actually is already thinking. He's already sort of started saying he can talk to her, even though her question, maybe Aralamb's already getting her question, or he wants to say. So I'm going to just let him start with her.
Okay.
And then okay. So Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb speaking. Welcome, Carrie. Welcome. I want to say this to you in this exact way. And as Rob will know, I always try to be incredibly respectful, particularly when I'm reading to someone and it's kind of personal in nature. So let me say this to you. You, in the last 6 to 8 weeks of your life, and even a little earlier, but now in the 6 to 8 weeks back, still Aralamb speaking, you are looking at making some changes in your personal life, and it's a bit frightening for you. But let me say this to you. You have souls coming toward you in your timeline who are not only going to be helpful for you in a personal kind of way, but also helpful for you in some of those career thoughts that you have. You have career goals that you have not really leaned into at this time. And so doing what you're doing now for your job is a job. But you have this kind of career goal that would make you much more able to sort of utilize your spiritual gifts, which really have to do with sort of healing in a very physical way. And this doesn't mean that you don't have spiritual healing gifts, because you do, but you are the kind of person that literally could become, if you're not already, incredibly powerful in these sort of holistic medical fields or the alternative medical field. And I think that you feel as though this isn't something that you would be able to make a good living at, but you could. The thing that's holding you up now, and this is where I want to be very respectful, is that I don't want you to feel as though that you're always going to be alone, particularly if you make decisions that are for you personally. You will not be. You have a lot of really incredible souls coming toward you in your timeline, which you have not even met yet. So keep that in your mind. The other thing is this: if you sink into that career and some of those spiritual gifts, around those healing modalities, you're going to find yourself incredibly much more powerful than you believe that you are today. And I also say that, still Aralamb speaking, there's a part of you since you were a young child that understands your spiritual power, that understands that you have this ability to be very powerful spiritually in the healing sort of realm, but you've always hidden it from those around you. And you're coming into a point right now where that hiding is going to be something that you can stop doing. You're not going to have to hide that from anyone. So that's what I'm seeing for you right now. I'm hoping that that is answering some of your questions. And if you have something else, you can ask now.
Yeah.
So I wonder, so that was kind of a lot of personal stuff, but I don't know how she's feeling about any of that. So she's been kind of hiding herself under a, she's been sort of saying, yeah, don't look over here. I'm not particularly talented, but she is.
Yeah. I know she's from Australia, I don't know. She says, thank you. She says, that makes sense. I've been holding back on the healing, but it answers a lot. And she said, thank you.
Good. Yeah. So let me say this too. And this is me speaking, not Aralamb, Carrie, just quickly. When Aralamb was talking about all of that, when he said to you that you have a very powerful sort of healing, holistic healing gift, he was showing me sort of plant medicine for you. Because sometimes when Aralamb's talking to somebody, it's like I'm getting all these pictures of them kind of doing things. So when he said that you have this powerful gift that you can step into, it, for me in my body, Carrie's gift, your gift is a really powerful gift. And when he said you sort of know that, like as a child, you kind of secretly knew that you felt this way about yourself, and then you kind of let that go. But it's really powerful for you. So lean into that, girl. Don't like talk yourself out of it. Don't do that. Lean into that. And as far as the personal relationship part of it, that's another place where he's showing me a lot of really good friendships that you are going to have that haven't happened yet. And that's important for people sometimes, because you can, and you know this, Rob, I say, you know this, but we all know this. You can get to a point in your life where you feel like, here I am, this is what it's going to be. Nothing new is going to happen. I can't change relationships, or I can't find a relationship. It's not going to get better. When in all actuality, in your timeline, you could be 2 days away from the cool, better thing. Right. So you've always got to be kind of looking at it that way. So I'm saying that to her. So stay focused on what's coming at you, because it's awesome.
I agree. That's really well said. Yeah. This next one's from Karen Rosevich, or Rosenvinge. I pronounced that right. But she's also
Rosenvinge. That's an awesome name.
Yeah. But again, she didn't have a question, so maybe whatever you pick up off of her. She didn't leave a question when she donated.
No question. That's okay. Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's speaking. Hello, Karen. Karen, you are coming out of some very painful losses, respectfully, again. You're coming out of some very painful losses. It's really going to be time for you to turn your attention to the fact that the most difficult losses in your life have happened. The most difficult challenges in your life have happened, meaning you've put all of this difficulty in this first section of your life. Wherever you are now, you're coming to the more stable time, and you'll start to move forward from that. But hear me when I say this, still Aralamb speaking. Even if you feel as though you have healed from the losses, you may want to sort of love yourself enough, and that sounds sort of cliche and simple, but you may want to make sure that you have sort of let yourself heal, and that you've loved yourself, and that you're still releasing around those losses. I also want to say this for you, still Aralamb speaking, around the losses that you've had, your contracts with those human beings, so those contracts with some of that loss that you've had relationship wise, you did exactly what you were meant to do. You could not have done another thing to make it right or make it better. So hear me when I say it again, still Aralamb speaking. There's not one more thing that you could have done to make it right or make it better. So you do not have to move forward with guilt or feeling as though there was something more you could have done. You are free from those contracts. Understand that you're free from those contracts. Doesn't mean you're going to cut people from your world. It just simply means that you've done what you said you could do, and now you can move forward in your own way. So I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you.
I'm just looking at my note. Let me see what she said here. Let's see if she responded. I'm looking down at my phone. Nothing
Right.
yet. Nothing yet. But I had the next. Yeah. So I'll wait to see. Yeah. I hope that resonated with you, Karen. If you're, yeah. The next one we have is she did. She said thank you with a heart. So so I guess it resonated with her. She said with a blue heart. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, and here's the thing about Karen's energy. I'm going to say this is me, because when Aralamb's talking about somebody, I get all these feels, because I'm just sitting here. All I have to do is just really relax my body and let Aralamb talk. But when he's talking and he's connected to Karen, I'm feeling kind of the feels that she has, or the feelings that he's having about her. And I want to say this to you, Karen. I talk with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every year. You have a beautiful feeling, sort of heart chakra. Okay. So you're kind of a wonderful human being. So it's okay for you to sit for a while without thinking you got to do anything, and kind of just say, hey, I'm an awesome human being. I have a beautiful heart chakra, because you do. Regardless of what anybody has ever told you about your heart chakra, you have a beautiful heart. Okay. So you're lovely. So keep that in your mind.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. And that was an amazing reading. That was this next one's from Sally, but her name's Tiffany. She uses Sally for YouTube. She's from the same city as me.
That's so funny. My mom's name was Sally.
Yeah, that's cool. And again, I don't think she has a question. She's just like open to.
Oh yeah, she's got the face there. I'm skipping sleep. So Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's speaking. So Tiffany, let me say this to you. Looking at your timeline, and you already know this about yourself, so this is going to be confirmation for you. Any soul who has a very highly tuned psychic kind of gift, which you have other gifts as well. But the very highly tuned psychic gift that you have is one where you may not know everything coming at you all of the time, but when something is changing in your world, or something is changing on the planet, or there's going to be a big news story in a week, or there's going to be some strange change or things happening with your psychic ability, still Aralamb speaking, it's very likely that you could lay awake half the night with this sense of impending doom. Now, I use the words impending doom because it's as if you lay there thinking something's coming, something's happening. What I want you to understand is you're not laying awake because something is going to happen to you personally. You are just very highly psychic to the changes that are coming. You're also very highly psychic to the waves of energy that the earth is kind of exposed. It's like this explosive leaving of all this dark energy. So again, I say this to you, there's nothing you're doing to cause it, and you're not meant to hold on to that energy. What you can do is you can literally lay in your bed, and if you can't sleep, you can ask your contracted lifetime guide. I know you're there, and I would like you to send me some healing energy. You can do that anytime. And when I say healing, I mean that you have this energy around you, still Aralamb speaking, you have this energy around you, which acts as a kind of a very gentle cocoon, because you don't want to stop energy coming to you, but you don't want to hold on to the energy of the earth changes. You don't want to hold on to the energy of a war that's going on halfway around the world. You don't want to hold on to the energy of people who are suffering in another country. Now, that psychic ability for you is also very powerful, because looking at your timeline, you are what I would call, still Aralamb speaking, you are what I would call a witness soul. Now, the witness soul is a soul that comes onto the planet, and what you agree to is that through your lifetime, from the time that you hit the planet to the time that you cross back to creation, you agree that when you cross back to creation, the first place you go is the Hall of Akashic Records, and you literally give your witness into the Akashic Records for the earth. So at any given time on the planet, there are about 45,000 witness souls. You are one of them. This doesn't mean that you have to do anything. You're not going out to try to find things to witness. It's just literally that you're very psychically connected to everything. You're witnessing everything, but you can't be losing 2 nights of sleep a week. So you're going to have to find a way to bring in your guide's energy to make that cocoon for you so that you can sleep and then wake up the next morning, because you shouldn't be worrying about everything that's going on the planet. So Aralamb, so that was Aralamb. This is me speaking. So Tiffany, that witness soul thing is super powerful. There's not many witness souls around. So that's kind of cool for you to know. But I want to make it clear again what Aralamb said about being a witness soul. You're not supposed to witness everything in the world. In other words, you don't have to do anything. It's just that you came onto the planet and said, hey, I've got all these other things I'm going to do. These are my gifts. This is my spiritual specialty. And I will also agree to be a witness soul, because the earth is in an ascension. So all of the different souls that say they'll be a witness soul, they're literally like recording it all. But yeah, you don't want to be awake 2 nights a week. I know, because if I'm awake 1 night a week, I'm grumpy for days. And it's not good. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for her.
Yeah. And what was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. It's just like totally. I can't remember. Sorry.
That's all right. It'll come to you.
I never remember now. Yeah. Do you and Aralamb believe in like that? Like we get like actual like ascension symptoms. Like that's like a term.
Yes. Yeah. Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb speaking. So let me say this about ascension symptoms. It isn't that you will have ascension is not like a disease. What you're actually doing is, while the ascension is happening, all of the dark and hidden energies coming up and leaving the planet, the earth changes are happening, and that is all frequency based. Every bit of that is frequency based. The Schumann resonance is getting higher and higher and higher. The solar flaring is changing. Everything's changing. It's all frequency based. So during the ascension, things like your appetite, your sleep. Here's the other thing that people need to remember, still Aralamb speaking. Ascension symptoms are truly because every soul on the planet right now, whether they realize it or not, are having their personal spiritual gifts organically waking up. So you can become incredibly sensitive to the people around you. You can start to have very psychic feelings, very sort of information coming in that's new that you don't understand how you're getting it, because you're sitting there, Melissa sits here, everyone's gifts are changing and opening. Now, it's not something that you are out of control of, meaning it's not a frightening thing. It's the natural way that you as souls are waking up through this ascension. And so is there a kind of, are there symptoms around that? Absolutely. Because you can feel nervous, you can feel sleepless. Some people are exhausted. Some people can't sleep. It's, it goes back and forth. But what it really has to do with is that all this energy leaving and the earth moving, still Aralamb speaking, is waking up everyone's gifts. It's waking up everyone's gifts. And many people don't have any way to understand what that is. They just don't understand. So this is interesting. So I'm going to say this. This is me speaking now. I do, as you know, I do sessions with people, one-on-one sessions. I have I have a lot of clients that come back every other month or so, but I also have new people all the time. And new people will come in and say, I never thought about extrasensory perception, but all of a sudden I am telling you, I can hear my dog's thoughts. I know what my dog is thinking. Now, there are people who would say, well, that's crazy. That's not real. That's not true. Well, here's the deal. There are scientists now that are doing studies on the fact that dogs and humans end up with telepathy. That it's real.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
It's real. It's not conspiracy. It's not woo-woo. It's none of that. So, but I'll have somebody come in and say, I swear to you, I want to know what Aralamb thinks. They'll say, because I'm telling you, I've always been close with my dog, but all of a sudden, I know when my dog's annoyed with me, because it's almost like I'm hearing the thoughts or whatever, right? And that's exactly right, because their spiritual gift around telepathy is waking up. And so it's wild. But Tiffany she's not only a witness soul, but she's actually highly psychic, as Aralamb said. And it would be interesting to know if she believes that she's psychic, because whether she thinks so or not, that's one of her gifts, which is powerful.
That's amazing. And Tiffany's new to the community. She just started watching my channel like 3 days ago. She just started getting into this
stuff. It's like this. Poor Tiffany. She comes in. I'm not sleeping very good. And Aralamb gives her this big thing about, you're a witness soul. I'm sorry, Tiffany. It wasn't meant to make you feel pressured or nervous. So don't feel pressured or nervous. You don't have to do anything. It's just starting to know who you are, which is amazing. Which is
I
amazing.
think she'll love it.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And I have we have a couple more. Okay, so there was Nat
You're good. You're
Janoff.
good, hon. You're good.
You read for Nat before. He's always asked about his music, but this time he left a PayPal message. Let me
Nice.
read it to you. It says, let me see here. He says, "Hi Robert, love the show. Could you ask Melissa if there's anything I can do to increase my financial abundance? Is there anything blocking it? Thanks and all the best to you both." And Aralamb. I forgot to mention Aralamb, but I just threw that in.
That's okay. That's okay. So Aralamb speaking. So looking at your timeline, what I'm seeing here is that for you, you have in your timeline that you will start making more money. For you, and I think that we've spoken about this a little bit, there's this piece of you, we spoke about this before, still Aralamb speaking. There's this piece of you that still has this sort of belief that certain things aren't within your reach. And it's something old for you, and it's not anything that you have done in your life. You're not holding karma. You're not holding any past life energy with you. You came into this life very, very cleanly, which is a good thing. You also have a very, very large soul group. So your soul group, your pod of souls that you travel with is quite large. So the best thing that you can do, still Aralamb speaking, is really start to lean in for yourself in a way where you just don't fear what's coming. The money will come to you, but if you are thinking, maybe it will come to me and maybe I will have, more gigs, or I'll be able to make more money doing different things, you've got to try to stay on the positive arc of that. You've got to put the positive into it and understand that you also don't necessarily need to know how the universe is going to bring it to you. But when the opportunity shows up, you've got to jump on it immediately, because you have this feeling, still Aralamb speaking, that if you get an opportunity, you don't always trust your intuition and go right into it. You'll think, well, I'm going to think about that for a while. It's not the time for you to do that anymore. You need to trust your intuition, because again, here you are with this incredibly intuitive gift, and you actually know this about yourself. You know this about yourself. Still Aralamb speaking. You don't tell other people how intuitive you are, but you have that intuitive nature, and it's very strong. And again, it's waking up in you. It's not a psychic gift, but it's strictly a kind of mystic intuition. And the mystic intuition gift is the kind that lets you know when something good is coming at you. You have a whole feeling. It's in your body, it's in your mind, it's in your intellect, it's in your spirit. So the next time you get an opportunity, the other piece for you is this, still Aralamb speaking. It would behoove you to wake up in the morning and literally say to the universe, I know that you're working for me, and I want you to send me every opportunity. I am ready to take them. I will not wait in fear. I won't wait to see what happens. I will take the opportunities that you send me. That's going to be important for you, right? Don't stand back now. Don't wait and wonder how it's going to. Don't look at something for 3 weeks when really you need to make a decision today. So that's interesting. So me speaking. So Aralamb is saying, hey, man, you're, if you get an opportunity, just if your intuition says this is a good thing, don't wait for 3 weeks deciding if it's a good thing. The time for you now is to start to, if it smells like a good thing and it feels like a good thing, even if you don't have proof right this minute, go for it. Go for it. Because money will follow there for you.
And in this day and age, do you and Aralamb agree that we'll be able to tap into our intuition more, where we'll get those feelings, when we'll know that something's good for us?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Everybody, it's so interesting. This is me speaking. Aralamb just said to me, go ahead. You know how he pats me here? Go ahead. What's really incredible for me, and I say this to people, is that even the people, you can be right now on Earth, you could be a stone cold atheist who believes in nothing extraordinary about humanity, nothing extra. You could say there's no soul, there's nothing psychic, there's nothing. You're just an organic matter bag of meat. When you die, you go to the dirt, the worms eat you, it's over. That's it. You can believe in nothing. Even those people right now are having all of their spiritual gifts starting to wake up slowly. So this is too why you get people saying, like, I think Tiffany, you know what? I came across your podcast. I started watching it. All of a sudden, I feel the truth in it. I feel drawn to it. And that's why I love to support your show, because you as a person, not, your person, you who you are, Rob, are so intelligent and so open. And you're the kind of human being that is like, you're good. You'll listen to a lot of different people, and you're open-minded and you're super intelligent. So everybody's waking up. So even the people who think there's nothing to it, I don't have one spiritual gift, they will have spiritual gifts. And right now, because of the energy, because of the earth changes and everything's going on, everybody's gifts are opening and growing. And so that's why people are starting to have sensations about things and wondering about things, right? And it's a powerful time. Yes. So yes to that. That was a long answer. But yes.
That was really nice of you to say. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
Well, it's 100% true.
That's awesome. That's amazing. What I was going to say was
the Andromedan. I love I just sent you a Rumble rant. Is he ranting on Rumble?
Yeah, he says he gave two questions on Rumble. He always has two questions. He says his first question is, are there any messages from my Milky Way galaxy source? And then his second question was, I'm wondering, why do I not fit into societies or races? He says.
Fit into societies what?
Or races.
Erases? What was that word?
Or races. He means like human race. Like he doesn't fit into
the human race. The human race. Okay. So answering Aralamb speaking. So the first question, any downloads from the Milky Way? There are so many off-world species right now coming into the sphere of Earth. So all of the information that he is getting is very pertinent. The other part of this, and we've spoken to the Andromedan different times. We've spoken to him. Aralamb's still speaking. I want to say that for you, it is time for you, absolutely. And free will is the highest law. So when I say it is time for you, I am saying that in your timeline, and we've talked about this a little bit, it is really time for you to begin to move forward on your projects, move forward in your spiritual, move forward in the writing, move forward in the information that you have to put out there. It's time for you to start to be doing what you came to do versus looking at the timeline and thinking, is this the time to do it? It's absolutely the time to do it for you. And so when I say do it, I mean all of the information that comes into you, because it does for you particularly. The other thing for you is that one of your gifts, and I'm looking at your timeline, and I think I've said this to you before, still Aralamb speaking, you have the gift of getting prophetic information. This is one of the gifts that you have. Prophetic information can be something that you're writing about. It can be something that you're telling other people about. It can be something that you're speaking about. You can use prophetic information in your artwork. You can do it in so many different ways. But it's time for you right now to begin to sort of get off the fence of movement, because you've been looking at what you're capable of for a very long time. Still Aralamb speaking. You've been looking at your potential. You've been looking at your journey. You've been looking at what you know deep down that you were meant to do. And now is the time to start to move forward. As a matter of fact, still Aralamb speaking, I am very interested as Melissa's guide, but as an entity here in creation, I'm very interested to sort of see you moving forward and see what you're going to do. Right. So the time for you is not, you've gathered a lot of information. It's now time to start to figure out with that prophetic gift that you have, how to get that out to the planet, because that's why you're here. That's why you're here, particularly as a communicator. So I love the questions from the Andromedan. I love the questions from him, because he's like, every question is always like, I want to know. It's like Aralamb said, I want to know if now's the time. And so it's funny that Aralamb is saying, now's the time, dude. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't know what he's working on. I don't know if he's writing. I don't know if he's getting ready to do a speaking tour. I don't know what he's doing. But if he's prophesizing information that's coming to him, a la Nikola Tesla style or whatever, like coming to him from the universe and from the Milky Way, because there are, and Aralamb talks about this to people in sessions, there are multiple sort of federations of off-world species, if you will, that are all kind of in the wings right now watching us. And yes, there are species on the planet. The thing about the species that are on the planet, though, many of them are sort of being forced out right now, because some of them are the older ones that are they were a little bit nefarious for us, right? They were the sort of the ones that kind of came in and got us a little bit enslaved. So it's interesting. But the Andromedan, I don't know what he said about what Aralamb said to him, but he's somebody that is going to be doing things, like really doing things.
Yeah, I told him he should start a YouTube channel. I said,
Yeah.
I mean, he did all these people's different chats and stuff, you know. I don't know why he doesn't just start his own YouTube channel. Everybody knows who he is now because he's in like my chat. He's in my
I mean, only that Aralamb has talked with him on multiple occasions. So it's really interesting that Aralamb is like, dude, you've got all the information. You need to start getting it out there and like doing the thing that you came to do. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, and you know, like you don't even have to do like people don't even have to do a YouTube channel where you show yourself anymore. You can always do like a video where you show pictures, you do a dictation or something like that. You know, like so many different things people can
he could write 10 minutes of something and then literally say it over his videos or whatever. But yeah, he should be doing something. He should be doing something for sure.
Yeah. Right? Like exactly, just like you said, you can just say it like over your videos and like you don't have to like, you know,
right.
Like,
you don't have to do a face-to-face thing if you don't want to. You don't have to, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. And people can even do like TikTok shorts and stuff like that. Like
yes.
Like, yeah. This one's from Chaley Atwood, Chaley, and she says, hey, it's Chaley. I sent 1111 on PayPal for a general, please. And she said, I guess whatever you can pick up off her.
Okay, know. So Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb speaking. Okay, Chaley. So for you are just now starting this new kind of career path that you're starting, and it may be around your education or that you're going back for education to kind of make a shift in that career path. You're exactly in your timeline where you're supposed to be with this. Exactly. And I also want to say this to you, because you're changing what you want to do. And if you're thinking about getting more education, do it. Even if you feel a bit funny about the money of that or how the financial part of that would work, because the timing of this and the reason that you're feeling pushed to do it is exactly in your timeline. Also, if it requires you to travel or to go somewhere else to get the training, you're not going to lose any friendships. You're not going to lose anyone out of your life because you make this decision. Because there's this place for you in your timeline, still Aralamb speaking, and it feels like you're wanting to make this decision for more education or this big career kind of shift. But there's a part of you that thinks, if I do this, I'm going to lose some of my oldest friendships. I could lose sort of my love interest. I could lose some people in my timeline that I kind of have stayed in this job because I like everybody, even though I'm sort of bigger than what I'm doing. So the reason that you're feeling pressed to make those changes is, again, because your spiritual gifts are waking up. And for you, which is very interesting, one of your spiritual gifts is very much around sort of the channeled information in the way that Melissa is doing it. I'm not telling you that you would become a channel. I'm simply saying that you could have a very one-on-one conversation with your contracted lifetime guide should you want to. It's not something that can happen organically because you would have to ask for that because of free will. But you don't want to drag your feet or make decisions based on the loss of people, because you have sort of this real ability right now to kind of make those, if you will, dreams come true around what you're doing. Okay. So you're not going to lose anything by making that decision, even if it would require you to move, because there's this feeling of, oh, if I would move and I would lose friendships and I might lose a love interest, and it could be difficult to do that, but it will be the right thing for you. So do that. Okay. So that's really interesting. I wonder if that is what's going on with her. Yeah, but I hope that helps anyway.
You want me to see if she responds at all?
Sure, if you want to.
Anything. Let me see. Oh, there's a lot of messages for tonight. Oh, holy shit! Heck, the chat's really going.
That's so funny. Did you just swear and then you said "holy heck"?
Yeah, she says yes. I ignore them a lot. I don't know. I think that was something that you were saying before. I can't remember what you said. I was kind of paying attention.
That's okay. So she's having these feels. So she's saying, I'm having these feelings of needing to make these changes, but I sort of ignore them. So she shouldn't ignore them. She needs to. And if she's getting communication from her guide, which is probably what she's talking about, because Aralamb's telling her she has a bit of a communications kind of spiritual gift. which is sort of communications is what one of my spiritual gifts. And that's what he just said to her. And she said, I kind of ignore them when they come in, but you shouldn't, because those kinds of communications are going to be the thing that says, hey, look at this opportunity. You know, don't be afraid you're going to lose all your friends if you leave this job and do something else that would really kind of make your heart sing.
Oh, I feel bad, Melissa. She in Aralamb, you know, she said, "Okay, thank you." She said, "I don't know what to do." She says, "I'm lost and pretty near hopeless." She said,
No. Okay, so Aralamb's hand is up here. Aralamb speaking. So I want you to understand that when you're feeling this way, it is almost always in the very moments before things will change for you. So you don't need to be hopeless. What you need to do is start to listen to sort of your soul's voice, right? That hopeless voice that you have is that voice that always tells you that you're not running fast enough, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not thin enough, whatever that is, right? It's that voice that comes in and tells you all of the negatives about you. I am telling you, Shaylee, still Aralamb speaking. I am telling you that as you move forward, you're going to have opportunities that are phenomenal. So you don't have to sit in this hopeless place. You don't have to stay there. You can determine that this doesn't feel wonderful right this minute, but coming toward me very quickly are going to be a lot of changes that are positive. So know that. I'm literally seeing that in your timeline. I'm seeing it in your timeline. So hold on to that. Understand that change is coming.
and again, I always recommend people, you know, like so many people have a YouTube channel nowadays, like, you know, like, or a TikTok, you know, like, Shayla, you could start making TikTok videos and you could get big overnight. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you just have an idea. You could even ask AI what ideas, like get the like talking to AI and put some ideas in front of the AI, and the AI will generate like responses for you and give you some ideas as to what you can do. And you could do a whole online business. You don't, because she mentioned in the comments that she went back to school and it didn't work out, you know, and I was like, I know what that's like. I went to college and I took student loans. It's horrible. You know what I mean? I think that's a whole other problem with society. It's the whole student
loan. Absolutely. It's terrible. Yeah.
But you know, I just wish her all the best.
Like Aralamb was saying, she is right in a place right now where in not that many days. I mean, Aralamb doesn't usually give specifics like that, but he was literally saying that in the next, you know, not months and months or years, but like very imminently in her timeline, an opportunity or people. In other words, she's going to have an opportunity that can change things for her. So she needs to like kind of hang in there and be with this until that happens, because it's right around the corner for her.
Yeah. I really, I agree. You know, she's been watching for a while. She used to watch my old channel, you know.
Oh, okay.
So she's been around for a while. She's, you know, I guess I'll go to, there's a couple straggler messages where people didn't donate. They're just in the chat. Like this one here, this one's from Tracy B. She says, "Hi friend, any message for me today?" I just figured I'd do a couple random ones.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I recognize Tracy's face. I believe Tracy is one of my people. I think she's one of my people. The picture's a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure I recognize that face. So hello, Tracy. Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's speaking. Tracy, it's wonderful to see you. Let me say this to you. You have been feeling that what's coming toward you is something that, again, is going to be this kind of incredible opportunity for you. Also that your work is getting better, meaning the spiritual work for you is changing a little bit, and you're exactly spot on. So your intuition that's kicking in and what you're thinking is sort of coming toward you and how you're working through it. Also, it looks to me like you're doing some writing again, which is perfect. That's exactly where you need to be. So again, everything is changing. And still Aralamb speaking. I say this to people on a daily basis. No matter where you are today and how you feel about what your life looks like today, because of the ascension, you cannot look at your life and think this is what it's going to be for the next 40 or 50 or 60 years, because it absolutely cannot stand. So things can only change in the ascension. So everything's moving forward, but you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. So know that you're right in the pocket of the timeline for you.
Yeah. And then this was one, this is Puck Elf. He writes weird things in the chat, but he's a really nice guy. He means well. You know what I mean? He does. He really means well. He doesn't, you know, he just writes like really, you know, strange stuff, but he's a good person. You know, he really is.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay, so Aralamb's hand is up here. Aralamb speaking. So I want to say this to you directly. I want you to understand that the way that this works for Melissa, and there's a reason that I'm telling you this, the way that this process works for Melissa is that she opens energetic doors to the right of her. Then I am standing next to her in what I call the 89th level of creation. This is the level of creation where every soul comes from to be born into a lifetime, whether on Earth or some other planet. It's also where souls come back through. It's like the clearinghouse. It's where you come in and then you go back and forth. Melissa is sitting here with energy rolling over her like a waterfall. This is how I'm able to utilize her body to speak to you. The reason that I'm explaining this to you is that, believe it or not, you have as one of your spiritual gifts something called creation connection. So what this means for you is that you do not believe that you are capable of connecting with the 89th level of creation in the way that Melissa is right now. And she's allowing me to speak using her voice box, her third eye chakra, right here, 2 inches behind my fingers in her brain matter is where I'm connecting and speaking to you. The reason I wanted to tell you this is because one of your gifts is the creation connection gift, so that you can have healing energy running to you. You can do this for yourself anytime that you want to. Right now, however, what I'm going to do, because you said I need a healing or a reading for directions. So the first half of that is the direction about connecting to creation. You have that ability. You can say, I know that I have a guide like Melissa, every soul has one. You can say, I know you're there and I would like to open my doors and I would like you to run healing energy to me. What I'm going to tell you now as well, you can do that. You can do that yourself because you have the creation connection. I'm also going to do this for you right now. You do not have any negative energy attached to you from any past life or from any experience that you've had in this life. I'm being very respectful when I say this. Still Aralamb speaking. Hear me again. You do not have any negative energy engrams attached to you from anything that's happened in your early life. Nothing. You are clean, but you have fear. You have fear around that. So what I'm going to say is that where you're sitting right now, the energy that Melissa has running through her to allow me to speak to you, in this moment right now, I am sending this same energy from creation through her and to you where you are sitting. And I want you to feel that. And you're going to feel that in your solar plexus as a very warm and beautiful sensation. I want you to understand what that feels like just for these few minutes so that when you run the energy for yourself, and I know that you can feel it, and you'll feel it now moving up into your heart chakra a bit. Don't panic. This is a beautiful healing energy. So understand that. The reason I want you to feel it through Melissa from me right now is so that when you open your own opening to creation, you'll recognize the energy that you're healing with. You'll recognize your own healing. So I'm going to pull that energy back from you and through Melissa into creation. So I'm no longer in your energy field, but now you understand what that feels like. I also want you to release that fear, because there's nothing wrong with you energetically. Okay. So understand that. All right. So me speaking. So that was wild. I hope that was okay with him. That's not usually a thing we do. Let me just say that's not usually a thing we do, but that's okay. It was what he wanted to do for him. So I hope that he's okay with that. But it's nice that Aralamb let him feel that energy so that when he connects himself, then he'll understand what that is and he'll feel that himself, which is important. I don't know how he feels about that. Is he okay with that? Is he okay?
I think he's okay with it. Yeah. I mean, I'll check the chat. I didn't want to go too long. We had one other person who donated, and then we had two other questions. Like, I didn't want to go too long. Like, what did you want to? How long would you say? Like, I mean, like,
what do you got? What do you have left?
We have, I'd say 3 more.
Okay, let's say 3 more, and then that'll be good. We're at 8:07, so yeah, we can go a little bit longer.
Okay. This one's from Dana Krieger, and Dana is she's a huge fan of the show, and she's a huge fan of psychic work, and she's a great person. She just says that if time allows, any messages for me.
Okay, so Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's speaking. So Dana, actually, it's very interesting to be talking to you today right here, because you are getting ready to come into some financial freedom in a way that you have not been looking out for. So you have sort of been manifesting that you would have some more financial stability. And I'm telling you right now that the universe is bringing toward you financial stability, but you're not going to see it coming from any specific direction. So when you're manifesting, which you do, when you're manifesting, keep that manifesting wide open so that the universe has a million ways to bring you that financial freedom. It's coming. It's coming to you. So that would be my message for you. The other part of that message is don't sort of, Melissa would say, white knuckle the steering wheel around the manifesting. Loosen your hands on the manifesting so that the universe has a lot of different ways to bring you that financial freedom. But you do have it in your timeline. You do have that in your timeline. So that's good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good news, Dana.
I know, right? I wish Aralamb had given me that message, or you. It's very rare that he says. It's very rare that he says to someone, "Hey, great, you're going to get some financial big money coming in." Like he doesn't usually do that. So yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, and then this one's from a new. I wanted to get this person because he's a new viewer, and then we'll finish with Jason.
Okay.
My moderator. Yeah, it's Satya Prasad, and thank you for watching. I heard him say in an earlier message that he's watching all the way in India. So he says,
wow.
I've been struggling for years. He says I haven't had an ounce of success. He says, can you help Melissa? Sorry, I mean to. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb speaking. So for you, what I'm going to say is this: you have been struggling for years and you haven't found an ounce of success. There's come this time in your timeline, in your life, the success that you seek is going to be in something that you love to do. Everything that you've been doing up to this point have been, particularly career-wise, it's been what you believed that you had to do. It's been what you believed that you should do. And this may be attached to family dynamics. It may be attached to family dynamics. I'm not saying that you release your family dynamics, but what I am saying is this: that activity that you love is the one that is going to be something that will bring you more sort of financial freedom, but also give you that success that you want, because you're a very smart individual. So this is interesting. Still Aralamb speaking. You have an incredibly high IQ. I'm looking at your timeline. You're also an incredibly long-lived soul. So you're sitting in about your 1453rd lifetime. Not years, but lifetimes. Most of those lifetimes for you have been in the Arcturian species, not Earthlings. The Arcturians are notable intellects. They are notable scientists. They're also notably very spiritual beings that are very highly evolved spiritually. So you're coming onto Earth right now from that kind of a lifetime. Those are the lifetimes you normally have. So absolutely, you're feeling like you're struggling because for you, you have downsized into this lifetime. But I'm telling you, you're going to have to extricate yourself a bit from what you believe you have to do, what you want to do. So I hope that makes sense for you. I hope that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that is, it's interesting when Aralamb talks about, that's a lot of lifetimes, because Arcturians live, from what I get from sessions, Arcturians live anywhere from like 400 Earth years to 1,000 Earth years per lifetime.
Wow. Holy shit.
So when 1,000 Earth years has gone by, he would have lived one Arcturian lifetime, and he's in the 1400s. So think about that. I'm not a mathematician, but that's a lot. So this guy, and I hate the cliche, the old soul, but he's actually a very kind of old soul and hasn't been an Earthling really much, because Earth is just really, really low rent compared to where he's been.
Yeah, like he's from a higher dimension realm.
Arcturians are just so much, they're like 1,000 years ahead of us easily.
Wow.
So yeah.
I just got to ask you just real quick before we get to the last reading. Does Aralamb agree that NASA lies to us about everything, and that there's a lot more going on in space than what?
So Aralamb's hand is up here. Aralamb speaking. Aralamb speaking. So Rob, it's as if they're a shell company. If you want to look at it, it's as if they're a shell company. They're sort of a facade. They do some things, but they are a facade for what's really been going on. Absolutely. There are black programs and black budget programs that have all kinds of technology that have been reverse engineered from off-world species. Absolutely. NASA is just sort of a face, the face of something for people to look at. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and does he agree that there's a secret space program, like some of these people I interview and stuff like that? And that, like, you know, that all these different alien races are real?
Yeah, he does. Yep, he does. I mean, that's me speaking, but absolutely he does.
Yeah. Okay, this last one's for Selena, but Jason donated for Selena, so thank you, Jason. And Selena, she just whatever Aralamb feels or you feel, and thank you. This is awesome.
Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's hand is up. So Selena, for you are now stepping into your gifts in a very strong way. You know this, so I'm confirming that for you. And and here's what I want to say to you. Your gifts are many, and it's not that you are only one. You're not only psychic or only kind of a mystic. You have many, many gifts, and it's perfectly correct for you to use them sort of dovetailed together. So you're going to have to expand who you think you are on the planet, because you sort of looked at yourself and said, if I could just have this gift, then that would be plenty for me. But in all actuality, still Aralamb speaking, in all actuality, you have a multitude of spiritual gifts. And spiritual communications is sort of right up there with that. So you're going to need to start to step into understanding this is really who I am, and I can accept that, and I can move forward with that. Because self-doubt for you has to go away. Your self-doubt has to go away. And it isn't that people look at you and think you have self-doubt, still Aralamb speaking, but the doubt that you have when you're by yourself in the middle of the night, that you're going to have to quiet that voice and put that away and start to move toward your gifts in a really firm manner, because you know who you are. You do know who you are. And so you're coming into that, and it's really powerful.
You know what? Someone donated last minute. It was Sheba. She sent a baby rumble rant. Can we do one more? Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. One more, and then I turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, I know. I don't ask anymore. I'm sorry.
That ages me. Doesn't that age me wicked?
No, I'm sorry. Like, I really appreciate it, though. That's really nice of you, honestly. Like,
that's okay.
This is Sheba, you know. She helps me out a lot on Twitter. She's been following me for a while. She's a part of my Discord group. But like every time I share a video out on Twitter or a podcast out on Twitter, Sheba then, you know, shares it on her Twitter, because I'm not big on Twitter, and she has a bigger following.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I appreciate her doing that. You know, she's a really good person. But sorry. I'm stumbling over my words.
That's all right. Here. Does she have a specific question?
I don't think so. I think she's just.
Okay. So Aralamb's hand is up. Aralamb's hand is up. So Sheba, you are another soul who is standing sort of on the precipice of the next moves for yourself. So you've been sort of skirting around I will say this, if the party is inside the building, you've been kind of standing outside the front door of the building, looking in at the party and sort of stepping in and kind of looking to see who's at the party, enjoying the music at the party, but never truly kind of walking in there and just getting into the party. You're at the point where that's what you need to do. Still Aralamb speaking. You have everything put in place for yourself to literally go into the party and become sort of the leader of the group if you want to do that. Again, for you, you're going to have to start to really specifically accept the spiritual gifts that are opening for you. You are a great person to be a support for others, but the truth is you actually should be the person that's out front in some way. So you're going to have to figure out exactly how you want to do that, because you don't want to wait any longer. The other thing is this, still Aralamb speaking. A couple of the spiritual gifts that you want to have are not actually the spiritual gifts that you have. So you're going to want to think about a little bit more about sort of frequency manipulation, manifestation. You're going to want to think about the mystic archetype, because that's all leadership. Right? Those are sort of leadership gifts. You have the ability to be with a group of people and completely change the frequency of those souls to what you need to be happening. That's pretty much of a leadership kind of soul, right? So you're not going to be in the background. You're going to have to accept that. And you're slowly getting to that, but you're dragging your feet just a little bit, and you want to walk in and join the party. You want to go in there and sort of stand up and have a voice. So that's where you are. That's where you are. So me speaking, I hope that helped her. So that's interesting. So she's like hearing the music from outside, but she's not quite ready. She's kind of wallflowering it out in front, the front door, but she needs to go in.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. Well, this most of the in Aralamb, this was amazing. Like, I hope we didn't stay too long. Like, I know.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Like I said, another 5 minutes though, and all of a sudden I just explode into a giant pumpkin.
Is there anything you want to? Are you still putting your book out on YouTube? And like, how's that going?
I am slowly. So I'm reading the book into YouTube, and it's a little bit slow. I think I'm up to chapter 17. And then I'm doing sessions, obviously. I'm working on book 2. So there's going to be a book 2, which hopefully midwinter this coming will be out there. And it's interesting because book 2 is going to be Being Humans, book 2, The Gifts. So Aralamb's really going to talk a lot about everybody's kind of spiritual specialties and put it in a way that you'll be able to read something and go, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Right. I recognize myself in that. So that'll be kind of cool. And then more stories that Aralamb sort of talks about and all that stuff. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, congratulations on book 2. That's amazing. I'll have to have you back. I mean, I'm sure I'll have you back on way before that, but I mean,
well, I come back every 2 months, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm every 8 weeks. That's been my schedule since day one.
Yeah, and I promise, as long as I have a show, you'll have a spot.
Yeah.
I think it's just weird how things happen. Like I'll just say, like I found you on Coast to Coast AM, and I never thought that this would turn into a friendship like it has. It's amazing.
And you know what's wild? Coast to Coast AM, their producer called me like 3 days ago. And it was almost 2 years ago that I was on that show. And I realized it was him, and I called him back, and he said, we really want to get you back on the show in August. So I'm going to be back on the show in August, Coast to Coast.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
It's really funny too, because I'm on the East Coast and they're out in California. And so you literally are in the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. here, and you're like sitting in your pajamas on your wall phone, because that's how they have you do it. So you're on your phone.
I know, right? It's so old school.
I love it. That's why I love it, though. So you're in your pajamas in the middle of the night with a cup of coffee and your wall phone at your ear, talking to George Norrie. It's wild, but it's awesome.
Let me ask you this, Melissa. Do you think I should ever take call-ins? Because I've been thinking about doing that. Like,
yes, you should.
Really get people to call in instead of doing it like over the chat.
Absolutely. Why not have people call in? Because
they could still. Art Bell did it. I was a big Art Bell fan.
Yeah,
that's how I was.
You totally should do that, because you have a great personality and you're people that listen. But if they could call in and talk to you and ask the question, and then I'm talking to them and we're talking to them, that would be amazing.
Oh man, I got to get that set up.
You got to figure out how to do it. I mean, I would love to do that, because I'm obviously a talker. Yeah. That's amazing. I need to figure it out. I'm going to try to work on that tonight. If anybody has to do it tonight, you don't have to do it tonight, but you should do it. Yeah, if anybody out there is like tech savvy and you know how to, easy way that I could do this, even if it's, I've even thought about just taking the phone and getting a Google voice number and then taking my phone. You probably could do that. I don't see why not. Yeah. Well, all right, my friend. Listen, your people can find me, and your people often do find me, melissagatesperry.com. That's the best way to find me, or on YouTube, same thing. All right. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you